and welcome to MNJBD News.
Today we'll be giving you the most recent economic news. Now to Natalie.
Thank you, Matt. A gauge of U.S. customer spending unexpectedly fell in December as demand fell across the board. But that is probably not the start of a weak trend given lower gasoline prices and a firming labor market. The so-called core retail sales correspond most closely with the customer spending component of gross domestic product. Economists polled the Reuters had expected core retail sales to rise 0.4% last month. December's surprise decline would temper expectations that consumer spending, which accounts for more than two-thirds of U.S. economic activity, accelerated sharply in the fourth quarter. But with the labor market strengthening and gasoline prices continuing to fall, December's decline in core retail sales will likely be temporary. There were also declines in receipts at all sporting goods stores. Core sales were up 3.2% from a year earlier. Receipts at furniture stores rose 0.8% in December. Elsewhere, declining gasoline prices weighed on service station sales, with receipts falling 6.5%, the biggest decline since December 2008. Sales for building materials and gardening equipment fell 1.9% in December, while sales at restaurants and bars rose 0.8%. Now to Matt with falling oil prices.
Thanks, Natalie. Global oil prices have fallen sharply over the past several months, leading to significant revenue shortfalls in many energy exporting nations, while consumers in many importing countries are likely to have passed less to heat their homes or drive cars. From 2010 until mid-2014, world oil prices have been fairly stable, at around $110 a barrel, but since June, prices have been more than half. The reason for this change are twofold. Weak demands in many countries due to insipid economic growth coupled with surging U.S. production. Added to this is the fact that oil cartel OPEC is determined not to cut production. Russia loses $2 billion in revenue for every dollar fall in oil price. Despite this, Russia has confirmed it will not cut production to shore up oil prices. Falling oil prices, coupled with Western sanctions over Russia's support for separatists in eastern Ukraine, have hit the country hard. The government has cut its growth forecast for 2015, predicting the economy will sink into recession. While President Putin is not using the word crisis, Prime Minister has been more forthright on Russia's economic problems.
Now let's take a minute to thank our sponsor, Big Brown Dick Old Spice.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man, now back at me. And back at your man, now back at me. Sadly, he isn't me. If you stop using lady scented body wash and switch to Old Spice, he can smell like me. Now look down, and look back up. Where are you? You're at a picnic with a man your man can smell like. If you switch to Old Spice body wash.
Welcome back. I'm Jordan, and here's the news. The Labor Department said on Wednesday import prices fell 2.5% last month, the largest decline since December 2008, after falling 1.8% in November. It was the sixth straight month of declines in import prices. 12 months through December, prices fell 5.5%, the largest drop since 2009. Slowing global growth and increase in shale production in the United States are causing an oil glut on the market, putting pressure on crude oil prices. Brent crude oil prices fell to near sixth low on Tuesday, a sign that both imported and domestic inflation could continue to run low for a while. Import prices, excluding petroleum, edged up 1.1% last month after slipping 0.3% in November. The Labor Department report also showed export prices falling 1.2% in December, the biggest fall since 2012. In the 12 months through December, export prices fell 3.2%, the biggest decline since 2009.
On March 6, 2014, President Obama signed Executive Order 13660 that authorizes sanctions on individuals and entities responsible for violating sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine, or for stealing the assets of the Ukrainian people. On March 17, 2014, President Obama issued Executive Order 13661 under the national emergency with respect to Ukraine that find that the actions and policies of the Russian government with respect to Ukraine, including through the deployment of Russian military forces in the Crimea region of Ukraine, undermine democratic processes and institutions in Ukraine, threaten its peace, security, stability, sovereignty, and territorial integrity, and contribute to the misappropriation of its assets. 13660 of March 6, 2014. 13660 of March 6, 2014, and expanded by the Executive Order 13661 of March 16, 2014, finding that the actions and policies of the government of the Russian Federation, including its purported annexation of Crimea and its use of force in Ukraine, continue to undermine democratic processes and institutions in Ukraine, threaten its peace, security, stability, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. An unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security and foreign policy of the U.S. Utilizing these executive orders, the U.S. has steadily increased the diplomatic and financial costs of Russia's aggressive actions towards Ukraine. We have designated a number of Russian and Ukrainian entities, including 14 defense companies and individuals in Putin's inner circle, as well as imposed target sanctions, limiting certain financing to 6 of Russia's largest banks and 4 energy companies. Done.
Well, that's all for us.
From all of us here at MNJBD News, we thank you.
And have a beautiful day, just like me.
I don't know where I am. I can't find it. There's so many numbers.